Hey, welcome back to Soda Time Restoration. New project tonight we're going to start on. I've had a lot of people ask me, have you ever done a spin top? Well, I've done a spin top, but first time to do one on the channel. If you're looking at a Vendo 23 and you're thinking about, should I do a restore? This is a great project type machine to get started on. They're usually not too expensive. Obviously there's things that you want to make sure everything is there, but hey, tonight we're going to kind of go over some things. We're going to do a little bit of a tear down. I'll give you some information, a little bit of history of the Vendo 23. So hang on, we'll grab some tools and we'll get started on the tear down of this machine. Hey, welcome back. The Vendo 23 probably was one of my first machines I remember when I was looking at Coke machines, like, you know, just kind of a cool machine, not very big, doesn't take up a lot of room, just kind of a unique machine. In I believe 1949, Coca-Cola started the development of this machine. From machines earlier, from like the 1930s, they were just chest type. And then if you'll see a conversion, all of a sudden they put some tops on some of those old chest types to where you could put money in it, and actually take your selection of Coke or whatever out of the machine, out of that chest type, but they kind of put a topper on it. So in 1949 they decided, hey, let's develop something. It's got a way of putting money in the machine. You can turn the knob, get only one bottle at a time, and somebody at the cash register doesn't have to watch somebody's getting a free Coke or not that day. But you will see a lot of your early ones, probably in the 50s, you will see a silver top. They changed this machine about 3 times. There was a 23A, a 23B, and a 23E. E was the last one right there about 57, 58. This particular machine here was, I believe, let's check the VIN on it here, serial on it. But I think the code on this one, show you how to take a look if you're looking at some Vendo 23 and you're trying to figure out the tag. These years, the mid years, you'll see a black tag like this. The early ones, they were inside of the machine. So if you look inside, they're usually right down there by the coin cup. Real small little 2-line, but this particular one is you'll see it right here, 23B. So this is a second series. If you look up the serial number, you'll see a group. This one's a 12071, which puts it right in the middle of 1952. We will try to, I'll get a list to Sean. If you've got a spin top you're looking at and you're trying to figure out, you know, what year it is, I've got a good breakdown. We'll put it maybe during the video shot or at the end of the page. So tonight, our goal is to get this all tore down. We're going to get this to the sandblasting hopefully tomorrow. But if you're thinking about doing a restore on this machine, not a lot of components. If you're a first-time restorer and you're looking at what it's going to take to do this, there's really not a lot. You've got your coin mech area, you've got your spin top area, and really this is pretty solid. Your refrigeration lines come into this area, your bottom door section where you have your extra storage, and your compressor area. So we'll see how long it takes to tear it down. I don't think it's going to take too much time. And you'll see that Coca-Cola logo on the front there. This particular time, they used actually a plate that has an embossed Coca-Cola. Of all the machines, probably one of my favorites because they actually put an embossed lettering on it. Of the Vendo 23s, this is probably one of my favorites. You will see one with a fishtail, which I've done many a times. But this particular, in this year, 1952, you see a lot of at least some steel script, and you'll see some script at the bottom. So all of it embossed, not a decal. A few minor changes they made in it was early ones did not have a spin top like this. The other ones were kind of rounded, a little bit harder to do. So they upgraded about 2 to 3 years into it change the way this is opened here, where your lock mechanism, I'll get it out here, where the lock mechanism is at. Change the bottle storage area. So probably the things that we will be sending to the chrome shop will obviously be sending the ID plate, the star wheel, probably definitely the opener lid, and the bottle storage. We will definitely be doing that. So let's get started on the teardown, and let me get set up here and we'll get going. If you're figuring out how to get the star wheel off, that's usually one of the first things I do is make sure to get it off. That'll be something that'll be going. You'll have an Allen wrench that takes that off. Usually slip right off, not too bad, but you'll have a little Allen wrench. When you send that in, I would suggest leave your Allen screw halfway backed out to where it's almost flush. So when they do the chroming, it will chrome that a little bit, but it'll keep the threads from getting a bunch of chrome in there. But take a good look at that, because that will come back very, very nice. To get into the rest of this area here, you will have to take this top plate off, and you can take it off. I'm going to take it off the arm right here, and I'll get the camera down here where you can see it a little bit better. It's been a few years since I've done a 23, so it's kind of have to rethink the process. We'll just kind of lay this down for now. So always start bagging your parts when you start taking this apart. And at this point, this will slide off just like that. And I think while we're here, we'll go ahead and get this top lid off here, the bottle door. There's a gasket that's missing here, I see. And if you see this flopping, this should not flop like this. This should have a spring, and the spring is broke. So new spring's gonna have to go in there. So we'll go ahead and take this top piece off here right quick. Critical screws to definitely hang on to. I always suggest, if you can, get new ones in this area. You will see those are very, very small. And that piece is off. You will see an area here we'll have to take this apart to get that top opener arm off. We will definitely be sending that off for chrome. We'll go ahead and see if we can get this hinge off of there. And it is tight, tight, tight there. We may have to soak this one. I would hate to have to drill these out, but we might have to. We'll see. I will definitely be soaking them tonight. So let's flip it over, and we'll start on let's get the coin, well, let's take this top piece off first. We'll get it off first. Show you one other thing here that I can tell is not correct. So on the lock assembly, this should be spring loaded, and I can see part of the spring down in there. Actually, the return spring, it is definitely broke off in there. So you should see it to where whenever you lock or unlock it, it should kick back open. At least that's what I remember on some of my earlier versions that I've done, which were about the same time frame. I can tell this one had somebody shot a little paint on it, trying to clean it up a little bit. You'll see a little tab sticking out here. That little tab is for when you load the machine, that will cover that last bottle. So when somebody opens the lid, they can't get into that last bottle. So when it does a full circle around and it gets to this section right here, it will get to a spot where a flag flips out, and we'll get to that. And you'll see this arrow is pointing here to this direction, but this is a piece that keeps you from getting a free Coke, basically, when you first load a full load on it. We'll go over that once we get everything back together. So we got most of them out. We got a couple of them here that think they need to stay in there for life. Nothing unusual. You got to have a few. And I can see a little bit of where somebody's tried to get in here to probably open this up or get into it at some point in time. So definitely is some area of sheet metal that'll have to be repaired. So if you get a screw like that, obviously I haven't put any liquid on this yet. Probably will, but we'll see. I usually give them a little tap around the edge. That sometimes loosens that housing just a little bit. Probably last night I should have sprayed some of this. Let's see if that helped any. Yep, that tends to always help a little bit. And these are very, very small screws, so sometimes a little bit of help like that one there didn't like it. And sometimes getting a vice grip on there will help before you get it too stripped out. We're down to 3 left here. 4. About another one. There we go. So if you ever get one that gets stripped out, take a look. I got these through Craftsman. They're kind of you can put it in your drill, put it in reverse like you're taking it out, and this will recut into the head and try to make a new cut. Sometimes breaks it loose. There's not a magical thing that you can do to get some of these screws out. It is part of the challenge of, yeah, it's going to come apart, but sometimes not too fun. So all the top plate screws off. Definitely get all these and replace all those. Do not try to reuse them. I know there's times you got to reuse, sometimes you can't find them, but definitely hang on to them. But yeah, definitely do not reuse these. Find you some new ones, get them cleaned up, get all these holes re-cleaned back up. But our plate is ready to come off. Let's see how this will come off very nicely. And you will see probably like an area like this, you need to just take that and clean that up before it even goes out to sandblasting. Get all these little areas that somebody's done some prying on. But silver top, and you'll see on the back side, a little rusty. Always gets a little moisture up in there. Always kind of an area that, so once you get your bare metal down to bare metal, make sure you put a product on that is etch. A primer that has DTM, direct to metal product. So bottom plate, that actually bolted up here, and man, I just found something here that's going to be really cool. This could be the place they typically do it, but I don't remember it. But I've done several. I don't think I ever saw one in this area, but take a look at that. Coming up, July 15th, 1952. So I've seen dates on the 23s before. This might be common, but usually when you get one of these parts, they're so rusted right here, it's probably gone. But this is pretty clean, so I will be saving that, and I'll be taping that off. We'll blast everything else around it. But yeah, pretty cool. July 15th, 1952. Wow. So pretty cool area to look for a date code on your machine. We knew this machine was 1952 by the serial number, but we will continue here. Let's go. We'll go ahead and let's take the spin top part out. We'll leave the coin mech alone for right now. Let's go ahead and take the spin top out. There's a set of screws. These screw right here. There's a nut on the back side of this. Not too bad. This is where if you really want to pay attention to this area, and I would, this little roller piece is what you really want to get cleaned up, because all that whole rail is riding on 4 of these screws. And you can see a little bit of a cut into the housing. We'll get that cleaned up as much as possible. It's not too bad, but hang on to those. And 4 of these, and we should have this ready to drop out. If you've been watching the channel, we're in the middle of also a Vendo 39. It's in the body stage right now. We will hopefully, we're not sure at this time how we're going to shoot the footage. We're shooting footage on it right now, but I don't know if we're going to have them running both at the same time. But that's kind of this will be my summer projects. We do have a 56 coming in next month, actually mid-month now. So if you're looking at, I haven't done a 56 on the site. Take that back. We have done a 56 on the site, on the channel. But the 23 I want to give pretty good attention to detail. So if you're doing one, or if you want to clean up your housing on the spin top, hey, this is what, it's not too bad. This should be loose right now, and we will next be taking out the coin mech. Looking at chroming your entry plate, great video for that. I don't know how many sections we're going to do on the 23. Try not to make it too long. This does have a working compressor in it, so we will be taking it out and cleaning it up. This particular machine is for a local customer here in town, so we will typically, I would always suggest doing the compressor on a machine of obviously of this age. But I run the compressor for 3 days, and man, it cycled on and off beautiful. Everything was crazy good. So when you get this, you want to try to make sure everything comes up at the same time. Little plate there we got to go around, and there's the flag. And we'll just try to keep it all together here right now. I'm going to lay it on its side. We'll be taking those rollers all apart. Keep these screws with that. All right. There's the button. We'll be definitely sending the button in for chrome. So right now we've got take a look at this. You see the spring on this, if it's gone or not. The key was lost. I was able to get it apart. Somebody had probably stuck a screwdriver in there and tried to make it work, I'm sure. Trying to get it open. Luckily it didn't tear it up too bad. I like to try to save those double-sided keys, and we'll see how this all slides apart. Doing pretty good there, and the spring is definitely missing. There should have been a spring on the arm. Can't tell where it was on that one. Let me see if I can get the wheel off here. Big wheel nut on the back side of your. We will call a couple of our Coke suppliers. Sean's really good at putting info at the end of the video of some of our suppliers that we use on all our machines. Now if I can get my fingers on it. Yeah, I need a pair of. Maybe that get us going. There we go. Some Vendo 23s have a plate, some do not. Some bolt right into the housing. This one has a little entry plate that we'll send off and get it chromed. So you'll have a washer, you'll have a nut that holds your lock mechanism in, and then in this case you'll see this goes on there, like I can get it on there just right there. See if I can get it in there just like that. Kind of get this together, but you will see this. At least the other one that I did, it always flopped this lock spring-loaded spring that was on there. I'll have to reinvestigate that and see if this model has it. So here's the housing piece that comes off. I feel like it's in pretty good shape. It's a little bent on one side, but not too bad. All right, we're getting closer. Now, let's see if this will raise out of there, and it does. So this lid, you're gonna see another set of screws. We may not do this tonight, but we'll see how much time we've got. But these screws come all the way around and holds a housing. This housing has a load of insulation in between these two. Matter of fact, you can see a little bit of that insulation right in there. So take them screws out would be next. Get everything sandblasted down. We want to get all this rust out of there. Obviously I want to get this repaired and fixed. That has a new spring, so that pin's gonna have to come out, and a new spring so whenever you open it, it shuts on itself. Like right now it just flops open and it stays there. Should not be doing that. So let's go on and get everything else off of this top, spin top area. While I got my hands dirty. That's why you should always put gloves on. So we got one more screw here. It's a push button screw. See if I can get it where you can see it. And a little item there. We're gonna take that off next. So if you're wanting to get your entry plate redone, this is what it takes to get that back apart so you can send that off. So there's a little snap ring. I want to turn this around so you can see it. Kind of tough to see right here for sure. There's a snap ring right there. Let me get a little bitty screwdriver. Actually, we'll use just a little poke deal here to get that snap ring off, just like that. Got a little half moon snap ring that comes off. Now, if everything does right, we should be able to pull that. There we go. So we'll send that off, get all that re-chromed. Probably would clean up really nicely if you want to take that to a polisher. I'll be sending everything off obviously, but hang on to those pieces. You are definitely going to need that. That holds on to that shaft, and you don't want that keeper missing. So hang on to all those pieces. Now to get the entry plate off. So you just want to twist these until they're straight. This is the only thing holding the entry plate on. You're going to see some little twisties. We're just going to twist them straight. They've been in there since 1952, so you know the design was pretty good. And there should be one right here and one right there. This is one of the tougher ones to get to. I think I got it pretty straight. If you want to, you can tap them down and get it back over here. This particular plate, I'm going to try to find a new one. Somebody let this one, allowed the star wheel to rub into the housing and cut a big old gash in here. So I'm on the hunt for an entry plate. I've had a couple people already call me, so I don't want to bend this up too much. I want to take it off. Got a couple tight places there. One of them is right here. It's getting better. Okay. See if that got it any better. So you will see another 2 clips. And I'll get it at an angle here where you'll see a clip right there, and you're going to see another clip right there. Got to get those 2 out. They're a little bit hidden. They're underneath these 2 brackets. We've got them raised up right now. Let's see if it'll come off now. There we go. So that gets your, if you're sending this to the, before you send it off, make sure you can still get a lens. I always say don't be throwing this stuff away until you have replacements, because you may be reusing some of this stuff if they're out or they can't get production anymore. But you can tell this one really got beat up pretty badly. It's beat in here. It has a big old long cut on that edge, so it will definitely be getting replaced. We'll hang on to that lens, and I always take a picture. If you've got a decal, always take pictures of all your decals. So let's say 2 or 3 months from now, all of a sudden, oh, I need to order this. Hang on to those pieces. Not for sure why that was in there, but it probably had something to do with this area right here. And I think somebody put it in there because the coins were probably getting hung up, because somebody had to stick something in there and waller that whole housing out. So this has definitely been a part. It's had issues. It's got cut into. So, but yeah, hang on to that for your decal replacements. But the top is done. We will move back to our main case here. Like I said, this was cooling really good. Matter of fact, just shut it off last night after 3 full days of running. But man, it did so good. Very little noise, very quiet. There's no fans on a Vendo, at least on this Vendo 23. There's no fans. It's just running and circulating refrigerant. The refrigerant is coming through this outside edge. But we will start now the disassemble. I always take these, the coin cup and the cap catcher. I'll send them to the powder coater and get them powder coated. We'll go ahead and pull our arm off. Try to keep all this together. I usually, when I take it apart, I try to keep all my screws together in one assembly, like so. And then when I get ready to bag it, I'll bag everything in that area together. So gasket needs to come apart. You're going to have 1, 2, 3 screws that hold this frame rack together. And you'll see this refrigerant running right here. So we want to take care of that. The main line is coming in right here. I'm going to be very cautious taking the gasket off, because I have not checked to make sure of this gasket. So I'm going to be very cautious taking everything out right now. And I'm pretty sure it's available, but as you see, pretty easy to take out. It'll have a little track that goes into. And our next piece to come out will be these screws right here. We'll see how tight they are. They look pretty rusty from here. Not too bad. It's just a little bit of an L bracket that holds that together. All right, so we've taken 3 out. We'll see if our lines are kind of loose here. There is the thermostat wire. So your thermostat is a contact type. I've done both. Some people say the contact's the best. That's what they used originally from the factory, but it goes down in here. This will slide out. So let's see if we can get the insert loosened up here. There'll be a hard, like tar product, usually gets set up. You'll have to kind of break it. That's kind of a putty. Definitely remember when you put it back in there to get that sealed up, or that will be a place where it will leak at. So there's a big chunk come out of there. As you see, it's getting loose. There is a clip that it is sitting on. I don't remember that clip on the last one I had. You don't want to break these tubes any as you're bringing it up out of there. It should come straight up. So when you're pulling it up, just jiggle it a little bit. Don't pull it too high. You don't want to break the tube right here. So moving on to the next step, we will be taking the front door off first. We've already taken what I call the bracket that holds your extra storage. We've taken that one off. We'll take the door off now. On this particular model, it is going to require the disconnection of the lines, unfortunately. Did not see that when I first, because the last one I did, I could take the whole AC compressor out, including the main drum, all in one shot. Not going to happen on this one. It is going to have to be disconnected. It is bolted together, so the line doesn't have to be cut. That's kind of a plus. But be prepared if you're looking. You will have to have a refrigeration guy or get you a vacuum pump, and it'll have to be recharged. The last 23 I didn't need that to happen. I was able to take everything out, sealed unit, come apart real nicely, slid it all out, cleaned everything up, put it back together. So, not the worst thing. Will require some extra work in that area. The door is off. Actually in pretty good shape. Got a little bit of a dent I see right there, but nothing severe, no rust really involved. Now let's see if we can get the tilt or storage bracket taken out of there. One bracket off, not too bad. That does have a special screw that comes out of that on the back side that pivots. As you see, it's got a little bit of a shoulder there that keeps that pivot going. And let's see, get a screwdriver on here. Got that out. See if we can get the housing out of there now. All right, that gets that out. Now, show you where this line disconnect looks like. Not all of them will look like this. Obviously, it's of the 23s that I've done 2 or 3 of them, not very many. But you'll see a line disconnect there. That's the one that's going to go up to the top so we can get the drum out. It does have a tap. See the tap over there? The tap is right there. So we will be rewiring all this, new wires. And let's go ahead and see if we can get it disconnected here. Just a little bit of light here. Got it broke open now. Okay, we got everything disconnected. The line will pull up from the back here, and you'll probably have to roll that cable out just a little bit. I'm gonna move a little table over here so we can kind of set this on here as we're pulling this out. And as you're going, you might have to get it straightened out a little bit. Try to keep from kinking that cable. A little bit difficult to get out of there, for sure. Have to inch it out of there. Just about got her. And there is the tubing is all out. So if you're looking at different models, the ones that's got the condenser on the outside of the machine are definitely the ones a lot easier. You don't have to disconnect a lot of stuff. This is the thermostat wire. We will leave that down on the bottom. We will try to get this inner cabinet placed that we've got. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 12 screws to get the inner liner out. We'll get started on that, so hang on. There'll be some wood back in the inside piece here. Make sure you pay good attention when you pull this apart. Sometimes you get these apart and the base has got a big old hole in it. There's a drain tube. And to clean that drain tube, you would have had to take all that out. But you can get that from the underneath. You can run something up in there, and I can see there's some stuff definitely in there, so probably one that would need to be cleaned out at least once a year. And like I've always said, you're going to take 12 of them out. Number 12 is the one that doesn't come out. Looks like he's a little rusty. There we go. And a little bit of rust on him. That's going into wood. You may have to replace the wood. Let's see if there's any other screws left in here. Looks like all of them. We will see. It's trying slowly. I may have to take, we'll see here, maybe it's just hung up on the edge here. I know there's a little edge there. Once you get it past that edge, boom, there you go. Yeah, there's a little edge that's hanging up on that block of wood. So pretty good, not bad. I've seen these almost totally gone and had to go back in and resheet metal, fiberglass, a whole new bottom. That's pretty good. And look at that insulation. I've taken a handful of these apart. Usually this bottom insulation is gone. This tells me there's never been a leak, but here's a sign that if this was used a bunch, there would have been an issue right here. As you see that'll pull out, and as you see, plumb full, one end to the other. So do your maintenance. Obviously you're not gonna pull your liner out to get to this, but at least come up from the bottom and get you a wire and get that dirt knocked out of there. So that's a good maintenance item. If you got a Vendo spin top, they all pretty well have the same entry right in the center of the drum. You're going to get it from the bottom side. You'll have to take off the little rail, the little drip rail in order to do that, but there's a sign right there. If this would have run a lot, this would have definitely rusted out the bottom of that liner, but luckily on this one, no issues. So there is some blocks. As you're doing these, see these blocks down here? They'll be loose. Make sure you don't lose those. If you do, that liner sets right on top of that. And these blocks look good. They'll when we take this insulation down, I'll show you what that's going to look like. But as you see, the liner's going to be pretty nice. So let me grab a trash can and get some gloves on, get a mask. You can tell it's definitely gotten a little bit of moisture down there, which is very common. We'll definitely be retreating the bottom of this base. As you see these little blocks right here, they're kind of glued in there a little bit right now. They're kind of just sitting in there as you see the angle. So that drum sits right there. Should be 3 of them. This one here is got a little bit of gluing it in there. We'll take this drum down. We'll bead blast it. As you can see, that base, part of that base is trying to come up. We will put a new, probably, it's like almost a fiberglass liner at the bottom. We will redo that. Kind of like a black tar, helps on keeping it from seeping through. There's kind of that tar kind of holding that block in. So there's the third block. They kind of like glued that base in there all the way around. let's go to the next step, and we will take that drum out of there. And next piece will be to get that compressor removed out of there. And we're going to be really close to almost a total disassemble of the Vendo 23. We'll be taking these rings off. I'll be definitely taking that front housing off. We'll bead blast that separately. We'll be sending the bottle opener into the chrome shop along with the little 2 chrome rings. So hang on, we'll be right back. So your next step is going to be getting the liner piece out, not the drum piece, but I want to call this a liner that the drum sets into. You're going to have, you'll see some screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like possibly 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it looks like I got 5. So you got 5 screws to take out. So something to take a look at, where that water drains on the inside, where it drips through the interior drum, that little piece set right like that. So going back together, you want to make sure that all gets down in there. So you'll see one more screw that comes up from the bottom. You need to get that out or your drum's not going to come out. Excuse me. It will come out. This is where you're going to be taking off in order to clean this out. This bottom plate is a plate that's on the whole interior of the machine that the drum, this outer drum piece sets on. So once this comes out, it's just going to be a rim. We'll get it blasted, get it cleaned back up. Wood looks great on the outside, pretty good shape. So hey, that's as far as we're going to get tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, let's get the last 2 screws out. We got everything loose. We used our Aerocroll, left that in overnight on the screws that were in here. These are always going to be some tough screws. We're down to 2 that we can't get out. We're going to do a little bit of drill on the head and see if we can get the head somewhat loosened up. But hang on, we'll see what we can get out of here. There's one. Let's see if that'll get it. We still got to take our drain one off. Broke a bit. All right, so the tub is loose. Let's get it out of there. Give you a little shot of the inside. Not too bad. This is gonna, we'll get this bead blasted, get it taken, get it metal treated. Has a little bit of rust on the outside. We'll get all that back down to bare steel, get it re-protected again, but actually in pretty good shape, not too bad. This is always the bottom. At times I've had, and especially over on the drain side here, if you get on the drain side where the water is coming down over this area, usually the worst, but as you see, everything is attached. This is gonna blast really nicely. So let's go to our next step. Let's get that compressor pulled out of there. It should slide right out. Let me get this down here where you can see it a little better. We'll be rewiring this. New thermostat. Getting it cleaned up really nice. All right, compressor is out. All right, let's go to the back to the inside here. You'll see some little tabs on the inside. And like I said, not every version of spin top is going to have that ID plate on there. Pretty easy to get the plate off. This is the lock plate or lock where your lock pin comes in for your door to lock it in. A couple of screws holding it on. And it is off. Let's see if we can get the cover plate taken off here. Most of these are just a little bit of a tweak, not much. Just get them straightened up. Should pull right off. So if you've been following the channel and you want to stay connected with, especially with this project here on the spin top, hit that subscribe button. We're at 2,050, I believe, when I looked last night. Continue to grow. Sean might correct me, but I think we're approaching the 3-year time since we've been on the channel. But thank you, everybody. This will be definitely one of the newer projects for the channel, to be able to get a spin top on the channel. And anytime I say it's going to be easy to remove something, it's always going to come back and bite me. And I'm sure this has never been taken off since it was new. And it is tight. Not sure I'm seeing this right, but it looks like they may have doubled up the fold over. I think that's what's causing me trouble. Boy, it looks right. So you'll have a little plate that'll be on the inside, and make sure you save that. That actually locks the lock bar. That is the bolts that the lock bar actually bolts onto. Might want to put those together in your bag, so when you get ready to put this back together, you're going to wonder, what did they put back here? Be something you'll probably forget. And it's off. It took a little bit. As you see, it's just got a little edge that goes in there, and they twist those about a half a turn. But boy, you can tell, definitely been on there a few days. Looks like it's been repainted, maybe with a roller. You can tell it's not a very great job, but yeah, we'll get that bead blasted. Get down to the last couple of pieces here, and we'll get to see how easy the bottle opener comes out. If you're doing a Vendo 23, one of the spin tops, hey, send it to us on our Facebook page. We like to post those in the comments. These are kind of a great project to start with. Kind of small. Probably the only negativity, get you one that you can get the compressor out without having to take the lines off. And there it fell out. If you can get that, that will save you a little bit of issues of maybe having a refrigeration guy coming in and get that going again, especially if it's getting cold. If it's not getting cold, then yeah, you'll be going down that road anyway. But take a good look at that. That will be one that we'll be sending to the chrome shop. We'll try to get them sent off tomorrow. We'll get this ring off. And like that, you'll have a spring load. So when you're removing that, these just kind of spring in there. So once you get one side kind of worked out of the hole, you're good to go. Let's get one more here. Probably the same deal. You can get underneath it here. I can actually see the tab right there. We'll see if we can get it kind of halfway removed here. It'll make life a little easier. There we go. Now it's loose. And same deal. But yeah, those will clean up really nice. And if you want to send them to the chrome shop, which I'm probably going to do, we'll send all those in, get them redone, cleaned up. Oh yeah, we need to get the ID plate off too. So always save those ID plates. As you can see, some tape off lines where this has been repainted before. But yeah, save those. Great history of when the machine was made. Well, let's see if we can get, and before I make a mess here, let me vacuum some stuff up here. Alright, let's turn this over, give you an idea of what has to happen if you're going to keep the drain free. Every spin top has a drain dead center in the middle that I've ever seen. As soon as I say that, it'll be somebody calling. Mine's not there. But as you see, there's a little drain, and guess where that drain goes to? Kind of a crazy spot. It goes over into the cap catcher. So if you see a lot of water in your cap catcher, that's where it goes. And probably not one of my favorite designs. And it's not like it produces a lot of water, but it is kind of weird that it drains over into the cap catcher. See if I can get a little bit of light down there. That helps. This head is pretty well gone. I want to try to get that from the other side. I'll get these loose here maybe. These look like in good shape, maybe. So I don't know if you can see that from there, but that tube, or the drain tube, or rail you want to probably need to call it, but it looks like it's bent. It's got a little bend in it right there. That should not be there. Let's see if we can spin this and loosen this up a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty. We may be having to make a new one of these, we'll see. It's not too bad a shape, but it is very, very rusty. If we can get a hold of it here. We're gonna flip this over, see if we can get it from the other side. I know the screw is going all the way through. We'll spray a little Aerocrol in there. It is tight. My can is just about out. Now, while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and take the ID plate off. And it is off. Good looking plate. Like in the 12,000 unit area. A23B, Vendo Company, Kansas City, Missouri. We will clean these red areas up, clean this tag up. It will go back on that original spot. Let's try again right here. See if we can get a drip rail disconnected here. If you're looking to get this drip rail off, could be an issue. To get it cleaned out, it is the only spot you can get to, because from the top side, you'd be pulling the drum area out, and you're not gonna be doing that real easily. We can just get it started here. I think we got it turning, and it's out. So you'll see where the screw goes into, and yeah, that definitely was all bent. Something got in there and pushed up against that. We'll have to get that straightened out, but actually in pretty good shape. We'll bead blast that also and get that cleaned up. But so there is the area, the only area you'll be able to get anything up at that center hole there. So pretty tough situation to clean one out, but if you can get that screw out of there, get you a hanger or something, piece of wire, and break that loose so you're not seeing this getting plugged, which that one is plumb full. All right, we will get this to the blasting guy tomorrow. Not sure. Hopefully we got this all in one video. We'll see. Might have been a little long, but being my first one, I want to be a little bit more detailed. But hey, thanks for staying with us. I'm looking forward to see what this Vendo spin top's going to look like finished. I think it's going to be very nice. But hey, thanks for staying with us. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, jump on. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. Give us a thumbs up. If you got a Vendo 23, send us an email or jump on our Facebook page. If you want to send a link on there in the comments, great, do that. But I got a lot of people asking on the memberships. Hey, jump on, be a membership of Soda Time Restoration. We've had a few members jump on here recently, and hey, thank you. We will definitely put you in the front of the video, and if there's anything you guys ever need, don't hesitate to call. I'm always got a lot of people asking questions. Hey, what I do there, I don't mind the questions. So thank you very much, and hey, let's go to the next stage. Hopefully we'll get this back. This will all be in bare steel, possibly already in an etch primer. So I'm ready to go to the next phase, but hey, we'll catch you on the next one.